So let me ask you this. If you were on a boat and let's say there was a leak, would you spend all your time shoveling the water out, knowing there's a leak? Or would you focus your time on fixing the leak? Most entrepreneurs are experiencing the same thing with their money. You see, they spend all their time trying to make more money, when in reality, they may not have a money problem. What they may have, more often than not, is a system problem. Without a system, money flows in and right back out, leaving nothing behind, right? So today, I'm going to show you how to build a simple money system that actually works. One that's easy to follow, reduces stress, and gives you peace of mind. How does that sound? You know, when I first started out, I tried to manage and track my money with spreadsheets and sheer willpower. And it was hard for me to come up with the discipline to sit there and track and budget my money. So I do what most people do, procrastinate. When there's really a task that they really don't want to do. I'd commit to tracking every dollar, but within weeks I'd fall off. It wasn't sustainable. But the turning point for me was when I built a simple, automated money system with clear percentages and buckets. Suddenly, I knew where my money was going, and I didn't feel like I was scrambling anymore. And you know, that leads me to the business coaching tip number 1 that I have for you. And that is automating your money. See, when discipline and willpower fail, automation never does. So if you leave saving, investing, or setting aside for taxes up to memory, you know, it won't happen consistently. We know that. It's just not going to be consistent. But automation makes sure it happens every single time. The best way to do this is by setting percentages first. A simple starting point could be 10% for savings, 25% for taxes, maybe 10% for profit. And the rest can be split between your operating expenses and reinvested into the business. Now let's put these into numbers just to make it come alive. If $5,000 come in, let's say, for the month, we can put $500 directly to savings, $1,250 to your tax account, and $500 into profit. And that means that the remaining $2,750 covers expenses and growth. And the key here is automation. Set these automatic transfers at your bank so that the money moves without you having to think about it. For example, I had a client that I work with that was making about $8,000 a month, but ended every year with nothing saved and a giant tax bill. So she came to me for some help, and we set up automatic transfers. So a percentage went into savings and a percentage into taxes. And within 6 months, she had put thousands aside, and for the first time had her tax bill covered before it was due. And she said she finally felt like she was managing her money and not the other way around. She just had a huge sigh of relief that this was no longer something that was really burdening and over her shoulders like that. So I'm hoping and I'm wishing the same thing for you, that you're able to set up systems to support you. Now let's go to business coaching tip number 2, and that is use percentages, not random amounts. So if you only save when you have extra, you're never going to build wealth. By using percentages, you create consistency no matter what your revenue looks like, because unlike fixed numbers, percentages scale with your income, right? And it keeps you stable on lean months and helps you build reserves on the big months. You know, I worked with a client whose income fluctuated wildly. Some months $3,000, some months $15,000. He always felt like he was behind. And which is why he reached out to me to help him. And so once we set up percentage-based allocations, everything changed. On slower months, he was able to cover essentials without stress. And on higher income months, he built real reserves instead of overspending. You see, so for the first time, he tells me that he felt that there was stability in his business. How would that feel for you to just breathe a sigh of relief and say, oh, for the first time, man, I got some stability in my business. Or wouldn't that feel good? And I want that for you too. Now let's move on to business coaching tip number 3. Keep it simple. You see, the biggest mistake entrepreneurs make is overcomplicating their system. Too many accounts, too many categories, too many spreadsheets. It's the simplicity that's going to create consistency. My advice is to start small. Maybe 3 to 5 accounts is more than enough. Maybe have an account where all the money lands, right? So as the money comes in, it goes into this one account. And then you have an expense account that's going to handle all your bills, the one that you have all the payments that's just kind of coming out of, right? And that's the account where you give the numbers out, right? The numbers, account numbers and things like that, which is completely separate. You want that separate. And business costs and a tax account so you're never caught off guard. And a savings or profit account that builds your wealth. See, so you have certain key goals and topics, and then you've got buckets that support them, right? You want to label them clearly so you know exactly what each one does for you. And you don't need to make it fancy, you just need to make it simple enough that you'll actually stick to it. Now, I worked with a client who had many different bank accounts, too many credit cards, and a giant spreadsheet she updated weekly. She was so overwhelmed. She was spending more time tracking her money than running her business. I'm sure some of you feel that way. Well, we simplified it into 4 accounts: income, expenses, taxes, and profit, right? The money's coming in. That's the income bucket. The account that pulls all the money out, so that goes in, the percentage is already allocated for expenses. That one takes out. We've got an account for taxes, so we know that we have more than enough saved up and allocated for taxes throughout the year, so there are no surprises. And then you have a separate account for profit. This is the one that we don't touch, right? That we reinvest either into the business, we see it grow, and we really keep an eye on this profit account, you see? So she said it felt like a weight was lifted off her shoulders, and for the first time she actually enjoyed checking her balances. How would that feel if you actually look forward to checking your bank balances? Wouldn't that be something, right? So now let's make this all actionable, right? It's one thing to kind of sit back and watch, and that's passive learning, but let's try to make this active learning, right? Active listening. Here's an action step that if it's applicable to you, if it resonates with you, then take the right action. Open one new account today. It could be for taxes, for savings, or profit, and set up an automatic transfer. It doesn't matter if you start with 5% or even 1%. The important thing is building the habit and proving to yourself that your system works. Now again, every person's situation is different, and this may not necessarily be applicable to you or in your situation, right? That's why I have coaching packages. Click the link in the description box below if you want to work closer with me, and we can take a look at your particular situation. And also I have the Financial Freedom Accelerator Academy that will support you through this process as well. And remember, the secret isn't making more money, it's building a system. Okay, and this course is going to help you and support you into identifying the system that works best for you. So you can automate, you can use percentages, and keep it simple. You know, my clients who do this feel more in control, save more, and finally start building wealth. You know, again, inside my Financial Freedom Accelerator Academy, I'll walk you step by step through creating your own money system that runs automatically and supports your financial goals. Now, the link is in the description box below. Definitely check it out if you'd like to work closer with me. And again, thanks for watching this video. If you've got value from this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who will benefit from this business coaching as well. And if you've ever wondered about the truth behind debt, good debt versus bad debt, or maybe you've heard that all debt is bad, right? And you're still unsure where you sit, you know, in this whole good versus bad debt, you know, conversation, you won't want to miss this next video, The Truth About Debt for Business Owners. Click here to watch, and I'll see you on the next one. Oceans of love. Till next time.